Okay.
I'm
Welcome
coming
back
in hot,
to another
guys.
episode. We got Ryan is reeling from
What's up?
that episode.
What's up? Ryan here. And I literally just finished the episode. Did you just finish, or were or
I
did
I,
you?
I had watched. I watched it New York time.
I watched it LA time, and we decided because Ryan is busy that we do it right after. And I need time to process what just happened.
Yeah, it was very shocking. I I did not think that it was going to go this way at all. I thought if we were losing either Helen or Sarah, I thought it was going to be from a Carolyn Idol play, but she doesn't even have to use it.
I'm like, you know, it's something where I love brilliant gameplay and stuff like that. And she hasn't shown it yet. I don't want to count her out yet, but Carolyn has not shown me she's ambitious.
She is
She
the
found
Gabler of the season. I'm telling you.
she's if Gabler and Nora had a baby. And
What a terrifying survivor player that sounds like.
I don't know. It's like I'm just like, all right, so when she found the idol, I'll be wait, I'm sure you're a lovely person in real life. I have my favorites. I'm rooting against Carolyn. I'm sorry. Um,
Oh man,
but
I think you're being too harsh on Carolyn. I think she's a great character. I think she
she's
adds a lot of fun to the season.
she
And
scares me.
she is also, I would say, like the coach of the season. I think she's just this big, wild character who, you're not really watching her for gameplay. You're watching her because she is, it seems like could go nuts at any time. Like, who knows what
I
she's
I
gonna
un-
do?
I understand that. However, it's like she's good entertainment. I won't deny it. But the fact of the matter is, they're keeping her over Helen.
Mhm.
It's like she is not giving the signs that I wouldn't say that she's not trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's just
I,
that
I think this comes a little bit to Carson being a big fan of the show of Survivor, and I think he recognizes from an on-screen perspective. Actually, I think he's maybe looking at it more so from this as well, especially early on, that Jam Jam and Carolyn are massive entertainment value that they bring to the season. And then even though Sarah and Helen, I think, are good players and good strategic, they're more dangerous actually in this new era. So why don't take out those players that are going to be dangerous later on? Keep the players that seem like they're just going to be really good entertainment people, but not necessarily the big strategic players who are going to win the season at the ends. I think Carson's really looking for at this more of a long term strategy, more so than tribal. Let's keep our tribe strong in this regard.
they better hope for a tribe swap because he might not make it to long term.
Oh,
Because
I
all
will
right,
say I still think Sarah and Carson are going to be good on puzzles. So I still think that they're going to be a strong puzzle team, which is their strength. I do identify them as the puzzle team. So I think they'll still be fine in that regard. I think we're really going to see uh, either Ratu or Tika go back, and it's basically going to be determined on if the end of the next community challenge is a puzzle or not. If it's a puzzle, I think Tika will be safe and Ratu will go. But if it's another kind of like how they did it this one with the snake maze or whatever you want to call it, then Tika's definitely going to be in trouble again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Tika is like because it's not like this team was like dead in the water. Clearly, they won the first immunity challenge even without Bruce and stuff like that. I guess it's just more so like if these are the kind of decisions they make, and I don't know, it's like I understand. All right, in the day and age before tribe swap, I mean, with tribe swaps being there, we don't know if it's guaranteed this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you're safe to assume that there won't be one just based on the past three seasons. Past two, if you're, you know, obviously for them because they haven't seen 43 when they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so knowing that, it's like, do we want a UA situation where we just have to completely get rid of our tribe? Like when it comes down to it, and it's like, it's the thing about a wild card, which is Carolyn. They're a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they're going to do. And like, I will give Carolyn this. She is aware. She calls Carson out on his shit too, where it was like, well, what benefit do I have? Or what benefit do you
Mm-hmm.
have to like stay with me? I'm still looking for that. I need like a in-depth, like I need a hell of a good reason from Carson next episode. I'm like, why did you go this way? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed very interesting because obviously episode one, it seemed like they really tried to establish the Carson, Helen, and Sarah as like that they're going to be able to lead it, but Sarah doesn't have her vote obviously, so she wasn't able to really contribute to this tribal council. So she's very shocked. I think Helen probably thought that Sarah voted for her because there wasn't
yeah,
another vote in there, so I wonder if Sarah, because I don't think Sarah told them that she lost her
no,
vote.
she
So,
didn't.
so I wonder if she's going to try to play it off like maybe Carson told me or something, or like I don't know how she's going to be able to like figure out how uh that worked. Otherwise, it's going to be a very clear Sarah goes home next time.
I mean,
Um,
I think it's like, well, I mean, at this point, I guess Carson throw away all his, education and whatnot. Just go for the. Oh my God, I'm just like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
mhm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I do give a lot of props honestly to Carolyn in the episode because she does find the idol and is like the only person on the tribe that no one suspects got it, even though they left her alone.
yeah,
They
they were accusing everyone else on that. I'm giving Tika the LVP.
just the
All of
whole
them are,
tribe.
all of them except Helen. Helen was wrong. Helen was robbed.
Yeah, it's really funny because the Survivor Specialists they did their fantasy draft and the first pick was Maddie and the second pick was Helen.
Understandable. It's because of these crazy. The episode one was amazing and crazy. It keeps me guessing. I'm like, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that
like at
that
the
is
same
something with
time,
the
I'm
season
like,
is it's crazy. It's it might not be the what we're expecting from the season, which is great for me because I did the opposite strategy of picking the people who I thought had terrible chances.
yeah, you so far you have only lost the one person we knew that was gonna go.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
both people were well, both of the people, one was two, one was four on my total list.
Yeah, yeah, you
Not
lost
a,
like huge people. Yeah, I'm looking at your list. I honestly think you have maybe one person who I think has a potential chance of winning the game so far. Um,
maybe. Who do you
I
think that
think your I
is?
think your number one pick is in a lot of trouble. I think we got some hints towards it this episode.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. That's
so
why I'm not going to Vegas ever.
Yeah, yeah. It really feels like Kane is literally playing exactly how Daniel from 42 did, where he wanted to go in with his alliance, he wanted to work with his people, and then they just all left him out to dry, and then he's
Here's
left to just suffer,
all
basically.
right. I will say this about the Kane. So
Mhm.
let's put a pin in the whole Carolyn situation.
Yeah,
We're definitely going to return
yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
That's gonna be a big talking point, I bet.
Yeah. And so let's get to, we start this off with them coming back from the first tribal council. And
Mhm.
yeah, Kane realizes, oh shit, I'm the only one who voted for, that's left, that voted for Brandon. Uh, and this kind of puts a huge target on my back because, you know, with the other three people sacrificing their vote, it's really easy for, you know, the eyes to be on me in such a fast paced game
Mhm.
that what, you know, like, oh, it's easy for the people that didn't vote to be like, let's target Kane. And Kane's aware of that. And that's why he went idol hunting so hard.
Mhm.
Uh I mean, I feel bad for him in the sense. I feel like I don't know. This in the preview makes me think that he definitely has a lot more fight within him.
Mhm.
And I also think with the implosion of Tika, I feel like, you know, Ratu is going to be fine for a while. Uh, but like you know, I feel like that is an interesting part of the strategy. Obviously, I don't think it's something that should replicate with caution, I should say. I don't think it could definitely be replicated, but replicate with caution because you might end up getting voted out without a vote. Because like, you know, three people that sacrifice their vote, you know, they can pretty much do whatever. Their alliances weren't proven. Maddie, you know, can just go with the flow because, or not Maddie. I'm so they're kind of similar. Sarah can kind of just go with the you know, flow and be like, oh yeah, I voted with you guys. I got a feeling. I felt it in the force.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, like with the Ratu tribe, it does look like, other than the fact that you know, obviously Brandon's big physical thing, but also with Matthew this episode saying that he built the snake thing in his backyard.
Mhm.
Um, it is something where it's like, well, that's only one challenge. I highly doubt if someone has the fortitude to make one of them, kind of like same thing with Carson, he might have had other challenges that he's been practicing
Yeah.
as well. So I think he's also a big asset to that team.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of proven himself to be someone who's good socially and good physically. So, whereas like I think Brandon suffers a little bit on the social ends, and he's kind of now just the big physical guy for that tribe. I think Matthew has a lot more to bring when you look at kind of the physical strength that gets brought into it. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely think that he's got some great game. I still think he only had one confessional this episode, by the way, but I felt like he was still a very big focal point of the
I
story.
agree.
So,
Another thing about the Ratu tribe, yes, Brandon was the target, or like Brandon was, you know, the target for the first tribal council. So yes, even though you know, eyes were kind of on Kane because, you know, Brandon lived to tell the tale. But I
mhm,
mean, I think that is still something to kind of keep in mind. Um, because like, you know, I still say even if that's the case, like if they went again this episode, case could be made for Kane.
yeah,
But I would say because, you know, they have like a buffer of tribal councils in between,
mhm,
there could be there, you know, time heals all wounds, so maybe time can heal wounds, but
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, apparently, the exit interview with Maddie from last week actually revealed that Jamie was the target an hour before tribal council. She was supposed to go home, um, and that's why she was so paranoid. So she didn't just do it because she was just feeling paranoid. She was actually going to be the one going home, and then Maddie switched it in the last hour to Brandon. Um, and because all those votes ended up kind of flipping, it created that it was the last minute chaos is the what actually caused all of the then chaos of that tribal council. So yeah, Maddie basically tried to do, you know, like the Tony Vlachos, make a quick move at the very end, but I think she did it with too much time, which has caused too much chaos.
Mhm. I don't know. I mean, also with the shot in the dark, like it's a 1 in 6 shot of it actually working.
Yeah.
So it, and you know, like obviously, eventually, the more times people play it, the more likely it is going to eventually happen.
Hmm.
You know, like it is a small percentage chance that it could. It is a factor to take in, but it's like a very low factor to take in.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Um,
should also praise though the episode because no one got injured.
I
No
thought when
medical
I saw
needed.
that snake in the tree, I thought Carolyn was fine.
Yeah, if Carolyn just fell out of the tree and is like, medical, come in here, I would have been
I
like,
thought she
oh,
was gonna get bit by a snake because like
yeah.
the snake was there and she was freaking out. I didn't know if she was like, because I know there's a fight or flight instinct, but we all forget the other F, which is freeze. Like,
Yeah.
some people freeze under that pressure. And when there's a snake, I don't know. Like, also, Carolyn is eccentric. So, like, who knows what she might do in the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's scary. Like snakes out in the wilderness are definitely you know something that I don't think you want to you know be messing around with.
Yeah.
I was rock climbing once when I was younger, and I literally remember like looking up and just seeing a rattlesnake just like right next to me. Like if I overextended my hand like an extra couple inches, I would have just straight up grabbed a rattlesnake. So
Oh, shit.
yeah, yeah, it's scary. Like the second that you see that, you're like, you know, I went into flight. I basically like dropped down way below to get you know get away.
I mean, I get it. I'm from Florida. So, like, I have seen my fair share of snakes. Some just chilling on, right by my back porch or my front porch. Just chilling in the street, chilling by a lake. They're everywhere in Florida.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. So yeah, you know, she kind of just like looks at it and goes, "Oh my gosh, there's a snake, everyone! There's a snake!" And then just slowly gets down, I guess. But yeah. You know, not much to also say on the Green Tribe. I felt like this was another kind of slow episode for the Green Tribe. There was the Matt and Franny stuff. That was
yeah.
yet again kind of that's that tribe storyline right now is Matt and Franny's showmans.
I mean, there was something else that happened
Yeah, yeah,
tonight,
yeah.
but
There's yeah.
um, there was the Madden, Manny, the Manny duo, or
Okay.
the
Yeah, or
frats
frats.
or frat. We'll go Manny. Uh, but yeah, the little Manny showmance, and it was nice because it was like nerdy. It wasn't just like hot people like, oh, I'm attractive, you're attractive, smooch.
Yeah.
These are like more, I don't want to say average, but like, in the sense of like, oh, they are nerdy individuals as opposed to like two attractive, like a Figgy and what's his face, you know
Taylor.
yeah, it's not like a Figgy or Taylor type of deal where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're, you
This
know,
is like if we got Adam and Hannah to be the showman to the season instead.
yeah, essentially.
Mhm.
Um, and I like seeing that. I'm like, hell yeah, two nerds getting together on TV. And they understood, like, obviously that's a big threat. Um, Thankfully, with this tribe, I feel like even though there was a slight hiccup this episode with them in the challenge, they were able to pull it together. I feel like that could have been one of the, or I don't know what other challenges they have, but like, obviously any tribe could go to tribal council, but I think it's one of the most well-rounded team, and all they really have that's, I don't even say it's a lack of, tribe chemistry or anything. Like the only issue they have right now is that, hashtag Manny is, being all lovey dovey. That's
Yeah,
the only
exactly.
thing for them.
Yeah, that is currently, it looks like the biggest pet peeve of Claire. I don't know if you saw her hilarious look at their, it was just complete like disgust
Like,
of
what
her.
is? Why do you hate love, Claire? Come on.
Yeah. She was pretty much just commenting on how terrible that is, which I mean, we have seen that there's not too many showmances that ever actually work out, but they're fun pre-merge stuff that happens, so we're here for it.
Yeah. I will also say before we get into Danny, that it was also, it's I understand why Matt told Franny about losing his second vote as well.
Mhm.
Like who who among us have not told overshared with a person that we liked, once or twice within our lives.
Mhm.
Uh and Franny did like the fact that, there was that trust there and whatnot. So we'll see how that plays out in the future, because obviously it's going to play out in the future.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I just keep getting the sense that, I mean, I think even Claire said something about how like, I think Franny is going to get dragged down because of Matt. I think because Matt has no power, and Franny is now choosing him to be her number one ally. She's going in with someone with no power, so for two votes, I mean, that's not like, you can't skate by once like that. Like, it's really hard to skate by twice when you're doing that. So it
yeah,
I'm really afraid for Franny's game, honestly.
I mean, Franny's best case scenario is Green Tribe just never goes pre-merge.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think what she would want is for them never to go to merge, and then Matt to be like the first jury member, and then she can make her game from that onwards. I think that's kind of her only, like, I think she's in a lot of trouble pre-merge. Like, if they go at all, I think she's going to be one of the primary targets. It's probably going to be her and Matt's.
yeah,
So if they can just get through the pre-merge, then maybe she can do something.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not counting it out, but I don't know. Matt's been getting a lot of screen time too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think hashtag Manny might be around for a while.
Hmm.
Um but going on to Danny. Danny is the one, he was like very gun-ho about like, all right, we'll look for this idol. And it didn't look editing wise that the rest of his tribe was none the wiser
Hmm.
either. And like, he just found the key, and then was able to get into the birdcage and leave the fake and to go about his merry way.
Yeah, he was like the only one to actually do it, I think, the way the producers intended.
Yeah. Well, I
um,
mean, yeah, that's do it off in secret, and then you have the fake in there, so someone will fall for it.
mhm.
Um, I mean, I think Carolyn could potentially put it back in there.
Yeah, she just wasn't thinking about it.
No, and like at that point, it was kind of a little too late.
Yeah, I don't think she thought that they would analyze the bag either. So, because it wasn't zipped up at all. It was very much still. I mean, it looked like someone literally just reached their hand in and grabbed it, basically. So,
Yeah. Oh gosh. Stripes
but
trouble.
but yeah, I do think Danny has played the idol cage so far the best out of the three people
Yeah.
who grabbed it. So kudos to him. I think that this was a great episode for him overall. I think, as I said, I think you have like one person who I could see potentially doing something and making big moves to win on your team. I think Danny is the one that I'm thinking of. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of Danny.
Yeah. I mean, I like Danny. Yeah, and I feel like he got some contract he got some content in the next time on Survivor. So he
Hmm.
was kind of just like running around in there, and then like
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of doing this. I don't know." And it
Yeah.
looks like he had the bag again. I'm not quite sure what was his thing there.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. But I mean, he's reminding me a bit of like I think of the Cody type. Like, I think he's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to want to be playing big, hard.
I mean,
Um,
the man is eating paper.
yeah, that
I mean, to
is.
be fair, there's only so many places you can hide a
Yeah,
piece of parchment. You can't necessarily leave the this other thing is just it's just a coin. Do with
yeah.
it what you will. Like you
I
can't
would
necessarily
love.
leave.
I would love for someone to throw it into the ocean and then for it to like show up on the beach and someone like read it.
I mean, that'd be interesting, but I think eating it is the best thing to do,
Yeah.
unless you're Carolyn
Yeah.
on a tribe with Carolyn, then she's gonna be.
Now, I don't know how the human body works completely, but with them out there, I wonder if how the paper is going to come out the other way because they're having trouble. I bet overall they're not eating a lot. There's I
Ask Carolyn; she's the expert on digging through that.
think-
No, I cringed so much when she was telling. I get how sweet that's supposed to be. I don't like potty humor, and I know it's like oh kids and stuff like that. Like it's part of being a parent.
You're saying you wouldn't look for your son's tooth so your son could give it to the tooth fairy? You don't want to scoop through poop?
Are you assuming my child's gender? I'm playing. No. I mean, like, I would probably try and find a fake tooth. Um, or I'd be like, all right, so the tooth fairy, I called the tooth fairy, I let them know, and you will find $1 on your pillow. Like, I got the tooth fairy on, we're friends on Facebook, but, they have an alias. So, if you go on my
Honestly,
Facebook,
my biggest props isn't to Carolyn in that situation. It's the kid for not insta flushing. Because
I don't
I'll be honest, like I would just go flush. I don't care. So for the kid to like every time be like, mom, come check my poop.
this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, the
This is
day
what we're
after
talking
podcast has taken a new meaning.
just just have her eliminated. It's okay. If she wins this, but like if she wins this, like move over, Danny Boatwright. You will be absolved of all your sins, Danny Boatwright.
Yeah, Danny Boatwright has nothing on Carolyn. If Carolyn wins,
No, if anything, like
it will make Danny Boatwright look like a Kim Spradlin.
make him look like Tony. I'm like,
Yeah. We if Carolyn wins, we need to have a double captain season with Boston Rob and Kim Spradlin versus Gabler and Carolyn.
oh my god, I'm just like. All right, in the sense of rags to riches, in the sense of like, all right, we have someone who's an ex-drug addict winning the $1 million and stuff. There is something inspiring about that. So if that is the scenario, that's kind of like what I would. That's the thing that would make headlines. I feel like that is a positive out of the situation. However, that is the only positive I see out of that situation. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, Caroline, if you ever watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. I just know, Carolyn, that I like you. I think you're you're great television, great entertainment. I'm rooting for you to make
I,
a long run. I am going to lock her in as my early winner pick. I think she's I think Carolyn is winning this game now. I think she has had two very big prominent episodes. She opened the season in the first confessional. I think that they are very much trying to tell us Carolyn is one of the most important players on the season.
I'm just the thing is, I don't think there's a possibility that that could be the case. I don't know. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
It, it's the new method of survivor winners. The new meta for 43 and 44 is people who you would think would be first boots go on to win the game. And then that could be the new meta.
I'm just like, why Jam Jam? I mean, like, because it's really like, because Jam Jam was also behind it, and then Carson was like, oh, okay. Like, I get that, like, Jam Jam likes, Carolyn's, like, personality and stuff like that, and it's fun to be around. It's just like, just, do you really want to go down on that? Like, do you really want to, go down on the sinking ship where it's like,
I mean, Tommy Sheehan did it in 39 with Nora. It is a very it's not like a very unheard of. Like there are obviously people who are going to lose, but that's just the case of any game. People are going to lose, and they maybe it won't work out for them with working with her. But I guarantee you that someone can work with Carolyn here, get to the end. No one will vote for her, and they got a very easy shot of winning. Like there is someone on that tribe that could easily make that work.
but you have to get there in order for that to
Yeah.
happen. It's like, it's cool to think about the end game, but if you're not
I mean,
making
you got to play
smart,
to win. You got to play to win.
you got to
You
play.
can't you can't keep the strong players around the whole time. You gotta take out the strong players so that way you can make sure that you're guaranteed to sit with some weaker players.
Let's put it this way, Joe. Would you be the first one? Would you be okay with you being the first one voted out of your own tribe, but they're bringing them along? And it's the thing. It's like, it's too early on. It's way too early on. It's
I mean, I think I am a early boots. If I can get survive the first few boots, then I can make it far. But I do think that I'm vulnerable in the first three boots, so I would expect myself to be potentially voted out early.
I'm like, I can understand me getting targeted early because they don't trust me because I just have a mischievous energy about me.
Mhm.
Um, that's just every time I play a game, everyone always targets me. It's like,
Same.
I don't know if you watched the Challenge US or the Challenge World Championship today.
I watched the first episode. I didn't watch the seconds. I think the second
Well,
stops.
okay, so I won't say what I'm gonna say, but we'll discuss that later.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just gonna be between Joe and I, but um, oh my god, it's just like, I remember when I was in this Pokemon Go tournament, and I lost to someone. I came in dead last in that tournament, and I lost the match to someone called Pickle Rick Boy 69.
Yeah.
And I'm like, someone consciously wants to be identified as that. And, like, I lost to that kind of person. And I'm like, if I'm Helen, I'm like, they kept her over me. And
Mhm.
and for her, she didn't even commend, the gameplay and anything like that. She's just like baffled that it happened. Because I
Mhm.
don't think it's good gameplay to get rid of her over Carolyn. I feel like Carolyn, yes, good entertainment, but like, what what does she offer the tribe that you don't go back?
I bet she keeps everything light. I bet a lot of people have enjoyed her company. It's really hard to convey a social game on Survivor. I mean, we've seen this countless times of people who everyone loves out there, but they only have so much time to like show us like
Yeah, I
that
get
stuff.
that.
So I do think there's a lot of that at play that is very hard for the viewer to understand. That all like I think it's very clear that Jam Jam and Carolyn have kind of been isolated from Carson, Helen, and Sarah. I think those three have.
Clearly not, because Carson was like, "Let me just vote off Helen."
Yeah. That's what I was getting to. The only one that I think is the you could have like question marks about is Carson, but as I said, I think Carson is looking at it from a fan perspective. If I was out there, I mean, I agree. I think that if you are looking purely from tribal perspective of just trying to keep your tribe strong, yeah, you take out Carolyn. That's the easy, obvious choice. But you're also you never want to be on a Survivor season that has all of the great players got early. Because like I think that's a huge flaw of 41, for instance. A lot of great players got early because everyone wanted to play quick. They wanted to get rid of all these players. Then you're kind of left with a lot of duds near the end, and that season has not been looked very highly for that reason. And it's hard to be on a season that isn't well received and well liked. So you do have a little bit of you don't want to take out a big personality super quick because that will impact the season. Like if Carolyn makes it even just to the merge, that is a lot of entertainment value that will be on the season that will make the season overall feel bigger, and more people are going to like it and want to watch it. So I do wonder if in like the back of Carson's mind he's thinking stuff like this, because I know if I was out there I would be thinking this, but I don't know.
Just no. The thing is, it's like, here's the thing. I've you wait, and I go back to Helen's like speech when she's exited. A lot of these people wait so long to get out. I mean, this is Survivor 44. Some people aren't aware that the show is still on.
Mhm.
People who are, applying now, they are fans of the show, or like they became fans of the show, like really good fans of the show, to be like, oh, I want to apply to Survivor, where not many people, or like, it's not like how it was back in the day where everyone was watching Survivor. There are, obviously a lot of fans still out there, but it's like the people that are applying usually are big fans of the show,
Mhm.
if they will, whether they'll say it or not, or
Yeah.
they grown to like the show recently and was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And like, I don't know, it's just like I can't. It's one of the things where I just don't see the logic. It is,
Mhm.
like, even if it's for good TV and stuff like that, it's like, look, this is my shot to be on Survivor. Do I really want to put my fate in someone who's not? Because like now, because like Carolyn and Yam Yam are tight, and like now it's like a 2-2 split. It's like Carson and
Well, I don't
what
think
if it's
Carson is on Sarah's side at all. I
no.
really think that it's clear Sarah's on the outs.
Well, either way, it's like he decided to go with the two people that are tight. Clearly, Yam Yam and Carolyn are tight. And if this was like a Ua tribe again, if we're going back to 41, what happens when it dwindles down to 3 and they have to go to tribe again? Hmm.
Yeah,
One of
but
these Carson would be.
you're thinking doomsday scenarios. I think if you're looking to win, I think you have to understand that you have to know that making big moves like this can lead to a doomsday scenario, but also it can lead to it's a high risk, high reward. Like if you're able to get through the merge or the pre-merge with Carolyn and Jam Jam at this point, I think that you're able to at least have Carolyn to like look at as, let's get her as far as I can to try to get her to the end, because no one's voting for her. No one's going to respect her game. She's not going to be able to explain her game. I mean, she has trouble doing confessionals. We've seen this now. It
I don't
started
know.
with her not knowing how to do a confessional. So,
I understand what you're saying. I do. And I'm not trying to be close-minded.
mhm.
It's just like I can't see how you value that over having a better cohesive team.
It's not about old school Survivor was all about what you're saying, but in new school, the fact that there's only 6 people there, that means that that is not going to give you great numbers in the merge anyways. Like, it's not really about how your team is early on. It's about how you are able to be present yourself as an individual now.
I
the the,
I
the,
get that,
the
but like
tribal
here's
stage
the
is
thing.
an individual game now.
It was more of an individual game when there were tribe swaps more often and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because there were a lot of things that were more playable, because like all you have to do is survive until that tribe swap, or to that point, get past the first 4 eliminations, you're good, and then you can swap around, play around a little bit more there, and you're fine. Now that's not really the case. Now it is a lot more dangerous, where right now we don't know that there's tribe swap,
Mhm.
and it's a fast-paced game. If if and they didn't, if it is like at 13, we'll say that it's at 13. Let's say they're doing the same as 43.
Mhm.
So far 3 have been eliminated. There's 2 more tribal councils until they would get to 13. So if you're going to tribal council twice pre-merge with 2 people, it will in 2 eliminations. If you're on a tribe that isn't as strong and cohesive, and you have 4 people left, that means you have only half a shot of getting to not even the merge, purgatory and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Like, it's a fast-paced game, and if you don't have, thing is, it's like you have to be strong in that early game, otherwise you're gone. One of the biggest examples was Erica in 41, because like if that team wasn't as strong as it was, Erica might not have won that season or have gotten to that point, or those set of circumstances, because it was kind of pretty well established. She was the biggest target in.
Yeah, she would have been the pre-merge goddess that goes out, that everyone's like, oh, she would have had so much game to play if she got there, but would have gone out because of that. But I do think that you mentioned also how it is a fast-paced game now, and I think the fact that the days are actually way less. I think that also has made it so that these tribes don't matter. We have now seen 3 seasons where they have gotten to the merge, and just the tribal lines don't matter. Like, some people are, maybe working together, but overall the tribe is like totally okay turning on each other. Like, there has not been a tribe that is like, we are going to be winning this the whole time. We're going to keep all of our people together the whole time. So I think yeah, I guess I'm just going back to my previous point of it's not really. I don't think anyone out there in Modern Survivor is thinking about working as a team anymore.
I, I understand that, but here's
Mhm.
the thing. I'm not even talking about alliances or anything like that. I'm not talking about, because like you can technically play this game without an alliance.
Mhm.
It's not always the best strategy. It can give you that in between thing, but like some people may call you out on it. Some people are like, well, he's not aligned with anyone. Let's just get rid of them. But I'm talking about getting to the point, getting further in the game. And no matter what season of Survivor, whether it's old school or whether it's, new school, or the modern new school, or the middle school, it's like the
All the
best,
schools.
the old, the old middle school, whatever season it is, whether it's Borneo, Cambodia, Guatemala, any of them, is the best way to not get voted out is to be immune. And
Mhm.
the best way to get immune early on and the only, in pre-merge is to win immunity challenges. And it's like
Yeah. There was
his
some Survivor player. I'm blanking on who it was, but I think it was either Zeke or Aubrey. It was one of those two, think. And they actually said that the new modern way of playing, at least at that time, was was you want to go to tribal as many times as
was
you want.
Debbie.
Was it Debbie?
It was Debbie.
I don't think it was. I thought it
Because
was.
she was like, go more often, stuff like that. Like I'm
Oh, no. It wasn't on the season. That said it. It was a like exit intro or like postseason, like someone was talking about it. Um I think it was Zeke. I'm pretty positive that it was Zeke.
the people that say that it's like grass is greener because those people survived tribal council.
Mhm.
I don't think the people that were on Oolong would agree with that statement. Anyone pre Bobby John would agree with
Yeah,
that
I
statement.
mean, but at the end of the day, Stephanie LaGrossa benefited hugely. I know she doesn't win that season, but she benefited hugely as a star now from going
Yes,
many
but we're
times.
talking about obviously in that scenario, we want to be Stephanie. We want to
Mhm.
be Bobby John. But and I would love to give an example of, like, but we don't want to be Ibrahim where like, it's like, oh, I kind of know who that is, or
Mhm.
one of the unnamed early boots from that tribe, because they went to tribal council more often, so many people were like, well, they fall into, like obscure survivor trivia, basically. And it's like, you don't want to end up there, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, this is going back to another thing I've already been talking about, and that's just it's the idea of the wanting to have the winner's mentality of I like you go there because you want to show off that you are playing such a great game. You want like every time that a tribal council happens, that is a chance to add to your resume to prove that you're doing something good. And Carson here, if he had just done the state votes no one cares. At the end of the day, no one would have cared about this. It would have gone down as a very forgettable tribal council because it would have been the easy vote. But by doing this, he has now created almost a new path that it feels like Carson was the one to be forcing the path. Even though this was Carolyn and Jam Jam who actually were trying to get him in, Carson is now gets to be a little bit more like, yeah, well, you would have gone home, but I wanted to make sure I'm working with you. It puts him more in the driver's seat. Whereas if he would have voted out Carolyn, he would have probably been in a similar position where they just vote out Jam Jam next. And then I think Sarah and Helen would have teamed up against Carson and he would have gone out. So I think he basically has chosen, he would have had to choose the duo that he wants to go with here. And I think
Well, I
I
feel
think
like
I think it's good to go with the crazy people over the people who are able to I would think win modern Survivor.
here's the thing. Carson is a logical human being. Crazy is the exact you can't.
Well, I think there's a little bit of craziness in Carson. He was even saying that
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously there is because he
yeah.
made this decision, but like, it's like with you can logic with other people, but it's hard to logic with crazy. It's hard to logic with crazy.
Yeah, but
And
Carolyn was using logic. She talked to Carson using logic, like she about how it doesn't make sense. Like
called
she
him out
couldn't
on
wrap
stuff,
her brain around
yes.
it.
It's just like he could, if he gets the final tribal council and that's part of his speech, more power to him. But I just say it just wasn't a good move right now. I don't. I can see it possibly paying off in the future, but thing is, in order to get to final tribal council or even get to the merge or Purgatory, you have to be a lot. You have to be alive in the game to be there. Like, you can make all the grand moves you want, but if you're voted out before you get to plead your case in front of the jury, it's a moot point.
Mhm. Okay, well, that was our Carolyn discussion for for everyone there. That was a nice lengthy talk there.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Let's see. What else was there to talk about on this episode? Anything really interesting? I'm
I
trying to
mean, we
think.
well, I mean, we kind of went through because like, I feel like each tribe, apart from like obviously, Tika having to go to tribal council, they got more, but it felt like, each tribe got at least a little bit of something something. They got like two different parts to their like thing. They got like two different scenes basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Jam Jam had a Cody hat. He had his own little Cody hat for a little bit. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Another fun little thing, Danny, he flossed. Not with the teeth, but the dance move flossing. He
Yeah, I
did
saw
that.
that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you got an idol. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Let's see. So far, let's go to confessionals, I guess. We can
yeah,
talk a little bit about confessionals here. Um, Currently Josh is going into our purple edit zone. He's only had two confessionals, has zero confessionals this last episode. So definitely want to see more of Josh coming in here. But let's see. Brandon still has the most confessionals, even though he only had one this last episode. He's got 15. Carolyn is in second with 14 confessionals, followed by Matt with 13, followed by Jam Jam and Carson with 12. Um, and then Lauren and Sarah with 9, and then it goes down from there.
yeah. I mean, I feel like the confessionals this time around was pretty good. There was a moment where we were learning more of Carson's backstory, and I'm like, oh, is Carolyn gonna actually vote for Carson?
Yeah,
And then,
he gave us two different. Last episode, he talked about the 3D printing. This
yeah,
episode, he also talks about the 3D printing even more.
and like we saw pictures and stuff, and him talking about NASA. I'm like, are they
Yeah.
gonna eliminate him right now? Are we getting like the I mean, like Helen didn't get that this time around. We didn't get that with Maddie last episode. So I mean, like it's not necessarily guaranteed, but like because of the last couple seasons, it really was like give it trying to flesh out everyone.
Mhm.
Um, Not to say that Helen didn't have a good. I feel like apart from her getting voted out, like she got a good amount of like screen time and like I feel like it's just she had a good episode apart from being voted out.
Mhm.
Not in the sense of like where she did anything that was so like incredible, but like I felt like all right, she got a lot of screen time this episode.
It feels like the two tribal councils we've lost people who honestly were pretty good game players, and they just went down because of other people's chaos.
Um, I don't know. I'm like, it's just like I need to know where this season is going because like I'm like uh, after this episode, I'm a little uh, I'm proceeding with caution. I'll say I'm like,
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't. You should be enjoying it because, according to Jeff Probst, this season was significantly better than last season.
I know it's only two episodes in, but right
Yeah,
now I'm like,
yeah.
uh, we kind of have. I'm waiting to see the proof in the pudding. The first episode was fantastic. This one, I'm just like, I mean, I'm going to the Wendell Bryce thing. Well, hopefully I get out set in time for it, but I'm going to the Wendell Bryce thing. I might
Oh
go
yeah,
out.
is that next week?
Yeah,
Got it.
because they travel to different places. And I just lucked out last year that they ended up in Los Angeles for their finale party.
Mhm.
So like it'll be regular time. But yeah, I also filmed that day. So like as soon as I get off of set, I come here or come back to my apartment, drop my stuff, and rush over. But yeah. All right. So I guess you already know who my LVP is.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I think I'm giving her the MVP.
I understand why,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna give it to Danny a bit. But I like Danny better. He played smarter. Uh, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like I can't. The entire Tika tribe, except for Helen, gets my LVP.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Danny's a good pick there for MVP. I think he's also a good front runner. I almost thought also Matthew, but you know I gave it to him last week, and you know he just had a decent episode, but nothing
yeah,
too crazy here. So I was like, but I still want to give it to Carolyn. I do think even though she's very chaotic and this big character that just seems like everything is just so I do think that you know she actually somehow played over everything you know in a way that ends up benefiting her at the end of the day, and I think she is in a much better position at the end of this episode than she was last episode. So I do, you know, you got to give her credit for that at least. Um, but my LVP, um, you know, I hate to rain on the lovers parade. But I feel like I have to. I honestly, maybe I give it to both Bad and Franny. Maybe I do what you did with Tika, but I just give it to them because I think that they're playing it so poorly.
yeah.
It is so clear that they are a duo now, and one of the duo can't vote, so they don't even have the power of why people make duos.
Yeah. It doesn't look too good for them moving forward if they go to travel really soon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think I gave Matt the LVP last week too. I think I did. So he's I mean he's just in I think some hot doo doo right now, which Carolyn knows all about hot doo doo.
I feel that is the perfect way to end this episode. Guys, please tell me I'm not alone here.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think about Carolyn because I think Carolyn is going to be that divisive character of the season where you either love Carolyn or you absolutely hate her.
Yeah, it's like if she was a character but wasn't playing the game as much, I think I'd like her more. But because she is, I'm just like, uh-oh.
So you're upset that she's playing the game.
Yes. We lost a really good player because of. Hmm.
I can just tell that this is coming more from a personal place of you being really high on Helen ahead of time more so than than the game.
No, I mean, if Carson went, I would have been like, what? If anyone went, I still would have been like, what the heck is going on? I mean, it's Helen going is kind of like salt in the wound, salt and bleach. We're gonna go Terrifier 2 here. It's like Art the Clown after Art the Clown comes in with bleach and salt and just pours it on me. If you get that reference, you're cool. Um,
Well, that's I guess gonna do it here. We'll see how this progresses. Oh wait, actually wait, one more last thing actually. One last thing. I chose who I think is the early winner pick. who do you think is who by out of the 3 episodes, I mean 2 episodes, 3 hours of Survivor content, um who do you think getting the winner edit? Which, by the way, Jeff Probst has come back around and said that they do winners edits, even though last season he said that they don't do winners edits. So,
I don't know.
so
I don't-
who do you think is getting a winners edits?
Let me look. I'm looking at this list and I'm still like, I'm just gonna throw this pen and see who gets it.
That's we gotta have
I'm not giving it this episode. I need more data. I'm sorry. I'm like,
You
sorry.
should just say Carolyn.
No, no.
Okay, well, at least Matthew. Matthew, I think, is probably I would consider the traditional winners at it so far.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm
Well,
just
I
like,
also know that you didn't like Matthew because of your boat theory at the beginning. So,
it's not that I didn't like Matthew. It's just my bolt theory was
yeah,
wrong, and I take
yeah,
full responsibility. I think I started out last episode saying, "Yeah, guys, I
yeah.
messed up with the boat theory thing. It's my boo boo." I still think Kane has some legs. I don't know.
I'm gonna feel so bad if next week he goes and you have to be at the Bryson Wen thing for that.
I'll
Uh,
be getting drunk.
yeah.
If that is the case.
uh,
Uh, yeah, I'm just. I think we should just end this episode. I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's been another episode of the Day After podcast.
Peace.
We'll see you in the next one.